Shalom. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, and the one of the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother, I am Nawa Allah from GMS Chicago, and I'm going to go ahead and hit on a quick lesson about there is no such thing as free will. And yesterday in camp, we were just going into that topic, and basically, yesterday's camp lesson was also about that there's no such thing as free will, and really, the Lord controls everybody, and everything that we do, it's really the Lord controlling us. And I can give an example. In Isaiah 10. I'm going to go ahead and start with verse 1. But basically, in this scripture, it goes on to tell you that the Assyrian King Sennacherib, was going to invade Jerusalem, Judah, and the southern kingdom, basically. But the Lord was actually really controlling the king of Assyria the entire time. The Lord controls everything. But anyways, here is Isaiah chapter 1, Isaiah chapter 10, starting at verse 1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And what will ye do in the day of visitation, and in the desolation which shall come from far? To whom will ye flee for help? And where will ye leave your glory? Without me they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. For all his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. O Assyrian, the rod of my anger, and the staff in their hand is my indignation. I will send him against a hypocritical nation, against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take spoil, to take the spoil, and to take the prey, and to tread them down like mire of the streets. And basically, the Lord was basically using the Assyrian, the army of Assyrian, to basically punish Israel for their iniquities. But anyways, I'll keep reading. Verse 7, how about he meaneth not so, neither doeth his heart think so, but in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few. And if you look in the NLT right here, basically it tells you that, I'll just read it. But the king of Assyria will not understand that he is my tool, and his mind does not work that way. His plan is simply to destroy and to cut down nation after nation. So basically, that goes to show you that there is no such thing as free will, because it literally tells you that the king of Assyria, will not understand that he is my tool. The Lord was actually really using the king of Assyria and these Assyrians to ultimately punish the Israelites. But the king of Assyria and the rest of these Assyrians, they don't understand that it's really the Lord that is controlling them. So yeah, there is no such thing as free will. Verse 8, for he saith, are not my princes altogether kings? Is not Calno as Carchemish? Is not Hamath as Arpad? Is not Samaria as Damascus? As the hand hath found the kingdoms of the idols, and whose graven images did excel them of Jerusalem and of Samaria? Shall I not, as I have done to Samaria and her idols, so do to Jerusalem and her idols? Therefore it shall come to pass that when the Lord hath performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of their stout heart of the king of Assyria and the glory of his high looks. For he said, by my strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent, and I have removed the bounds of the people, and have robbed their treasurers, and I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man. And here you have the king of Assyria boasting. All right, the king of Assyria was basically boasting, and Sennacherib, he was basically defying the Lord. But really, the Lord has had Sennacherib and the rest of his army and the trick bag, because really it's the Lord controlling. It's really the Lord controlling this king of Assyria. Verse 12. Wherefore it shall come to pass that when the Lord hath performed his whole work upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stout heart of the king of Assyria and the glory of his high looks. For he said, by my strength of my hand I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent, and have removed the bounds of the people that have robbed their treasurers. I have made, and I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man, and my hand hath found as a nest the riches of the people, and as one gathereth eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth, and there was none that moved the wing, or opened the mouth, or peeped. So here you have the king of Assyria boasting. Verse 15, shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth thereof, or shall the saw magnify itself against him that shaketh it, as if the rod should shaketh it against them that lift it up, or as if the staff should lift up itself as if it were no wood. And this goes ahead and shows you that the Lord is actually really the one controlling the king of Assyria, which is Sennacherib, and the rest of his host. And you go in this precept, you just go into linear, gives you a better understanding. It says, "But can the axe boast greater power than the person who uses it? Is the saw greater than the person who saws? Can a rod strike unless the hand moves it? Can a wooden cane walk by itself?" And yeah, it goes ahead and shows you that the Lord was controlling the king of Assyria, so that the king of Assyria does what he does. It's really the Lord controlling his movement. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up with some Proverbs. I'm going to go ahead and bring out Proverbs chapter 20, verse 24. "And man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way?" Goes ahead and shows you that free will does not exist. Alright? And man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? Alright, so we're basically the clay, and the Lord is the potter. The potter controls the clay wherever the potter wants the clay to move. That's how we are. We're the clay, and we're the clay that's being controlled. All right, we're the clay that's being controlled by the Lord. Verse 21, verse 1. "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as rivers of water. He turneth it whatsoever he will." And that was a great example there in Isaiah, the 10th chapter. The Lord controlling the king of Assyria, which is Sennacherib, to punish the Israelites. But ultimately, the Lord led Sennacherib and his army to their downfall later on in that chapter. Verse 2. "Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts." In NLT it says, people might be right in their own eyes, but the Lord examines their heart. Basically the Lord just controls everything. Proverbs chapter 16 and 9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. Goes to show you that there is no such thing as free will. Alright. Jeremiah 10:23. O Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not man that walketh to direct his steps. And yeah, the way of a man is not in himself. It's really the Lord controlling everybody. The Lord controls everything, alright? The Lord controls these 2/3. The Lord controls his own prophets. The Lord controls Esau. The Lord controls these heathen nations, alright? But anyways, that was just a quick lesson. I hope it was edifying. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and Shalom.